the Q&A section, and we'll be doing our best to answer them.
Absolutely. I see from Nuno, yeah, great. All the best to the Portugal. Yeah, I would like to be in Portugal also today. Nice. Guys, put your cities, put your countries into the chat. We are always like to see where you're from, because it's like we are located in different places with Kirill. We cannot, let's say, shake hand each other every day, but this is something what we can have. Oh my goodness, Georgia, Moldova. We are so international team. Lithuania, Hungary, Lithuania once again. Nice, guys. Wonderful to see you all. Okay, let me start and stop consuming this time by my talkative personality. So we are in Zoom. Just to remind you, I spoke about it. Kirill also remind you to use chat and Q&A where it's located down hand side in the tool. So please go ahead using it as well. When I will be talking mostly, Kirill will be ready to answer your question over chat and Q&A. So if something will be blurry from my end, just ask Kirill and he will translate my talkative language to more useful language, I guess. Okay, wonderful. So how to asset your input into SDG? I guess we spoke about SDG a couple times. I believe that SDG is something what is surrounding us. Even when I'm talking with my young daughter, she's always saying, "Oh, daddy, look, this is very nice picture there, or very nice poster in this bank window." I said, "Oh yeah, this is SDG. That these guys from this bank, they are correlated and they realize some SDG goals. So what is that SDG?" She's always asking me. And today we would like to also share some of our insights with you. We would like to show from the perspective of bibliometric aspects, what we both are familiar with, Kirill, how to measure your university based on created case, or even measure yourself as a researcher or as a leader of the team with some challenges coming from the goals. Before we start, let me make a small recap about SDGs. So SDGs is a development or next step of Millennium Development Goals created by United Nations. Of course, now we have an agenda till 2030 for sustainable development, and now we have much more elements since 2015 to cover. Of course, jointly with the development, the techniques and possibilities, we have more options, more available elements, solution tools, whatever, websites to work with it, to check it, to see possible sources to help us as researchers, to help us as a people to be more familiar, to be more correlated with the goals offered by United Nations. Of course, this agenda has been let's say signed by over 190 countries in the United Nations. So it means that I would say all our governments, they are very familiar, and mainly when you are reading some documents of the research policy on the country level, you see that they are selecting particular goals, what they are their high interest, or they would like to have on the radar as a whole country. Same is in Poland, same is of course in other countries in Central Eastern Europe. One aspect from the research let's say environment is the funding agencies or funding grants coming from the external, and of course Horizon Europe, which is fully correlated with SDGs, and sometimes we need to deliver some numbers to the agency to say, okay, this is my numbers in the particular SDGs, or this is my papers highly cited or well cited in the particular SDGs, or addressing some of the challenges. How to do it, we would like to share with you a little bit later. Of course, it could be a question, okay, why Elsevier is talking about it? Why Elsevier is saying that we need to deliver something? Our boss, Mason Kirill, Kumsal Bayazit, our CEO, mentioned very simple. It is our goal to do everything we can to ensure that our unique strength in content, data, and analytics help researchers and health professionals, important thing, make the targets set by the United Nations in 2015 a reality. So it means that, okay, Elsevier, you know us as a publisher, we have a lot of journals. You probably, some of you are publishing with us actively. You're using Science Direct, reading the content. You are using Scopus, reading the abstracts, doing your searches. Some of you are using SciVal, doing your analysis, helping your authorities to make a right decision for your universities and research institutions. But sometimes when we are sitting jointly here behind these old tools, what we are seeing us, we're just saying, okay, what else we can add? I remember out of my discussion, okay, how important it is to add some elements of SDG to Scopus on the paper level. Now it's changing because it will be also available in coming days on the institutional level in Scopus. Also, SciVal, we have created a free open layer for SDG in SciVal. We will share with you shortly. So all of these things be in our solutions, they're very, very crucial to make availability for everyone to do it, to be, let's say, be on time with all goals, to see, okay, where we are going, what is crucial, where the other institutions are, and where the other researchers are. And the last but not least, analytics. Kumsal mentioned about the analytics. Of course, we have a big analytical department. You probably heard or saw some of our reports. Also in this area, we have created one, Elsevier Sustainability Hub and the SDG report. Freely available, publicly available, everybody can read it, everybody can use it, everybody can use this methodology even to check, okay, do we have something similar on our end? Do we have something similar on our environment locally in the country? Or can we address some of these challenges here in my country? Second thing is that we are not alone here. It means that we don't know everything the best, but here the partnership is a goal, one of the goals, the last one, 17. Here also we are thinking how to map this environment of data, what we have, to the particular SDGs. What we have done, first of all, we create research mapping initiative, SDG research mapping initiative with the partners. Everything is available. All our queries are available. You can see it, you can download, you can see individually what kind of component of machine learning we are using for it and how it works. Even, I will say further, you can use it for your own repositories if you need. You can see some examples around the world that some universities have created their own queries based on our, and they are using it for the repositories to see, okay, how many papers outside of the big databases like Scopus they still have in their repositories, or even why their researchers are not publishing in these indexed journals. So this is one of the ideas. This is a couple of the use cases. But what we have done, I mentioned about this SDG Science Hub available. You can visit, you can see a lot of useful materials, you can see a lot of reports what we have added, especially the first one what I mentioned at the beginning, but also you can track it as crucial topic because it's something what we are adding continuously. This is not one-day journey, this is longer journey what we are doing every time. And of course we are not doing alone, we are doing in a community, especially when we are talking about the queries, and the queries are updated yearly. Sometimes people say, oh, we need the new queries, we would like to see what they have changed, what the community are saying, because Elsevier is grabbing also information from the community. And one time a year we're processing, checking, discussing with the experts, and then we are rebuilding queries. You will see how it looks like at the beginning and now what we have changed with it. But anyway, this is not only displayed by Elsevier. Elsevier is part of the RELX, and as a RELX group, we have dedicated SDG Resource Center, publicly available. You see that all goals are here. All information are split it into the particular goals, and then of course, if you are oriented only with one of them, because you are highly interested in that kind of research, you can track podcasts, you can track a lot of information like publication reports, conferences, and so on, just oriented for your goal where you are interested in. Additionally, we have great newsletter. My colleagues from RELX are responsible for it, this resource center. They create the newsletter. I'm also the subscriber of that newsletter, and sometimes I'm receiving very interesting messages, and I'm sharing these messages or resharing these messages with my colleagues, not only here in Elsevier, but also with my colleagues across the research community and university community in my countries. Last thing, what I would like to share with you in this area is RELX SDG Inspiration Day. Registration is open, so you can enter this link. This is today, so we have this. Our let's say webinar is highly correlated with this inspiration. We would like to inspire you. We would like to share with you some elements, but of course, great speakers with Ban Ki-moon will be participating in this event, in this online event, and they will share their thoughts about SDG, about the crucial elements, about everything. Kindly invite you to register if you would like. Kindly invite you to see the program and an agenda to find relevant topics for you, which I believe deeply. Okay, come back to the reality, come back to the data. So I spoke that mainly for analytics, what I'm doing, I'm using SciVal. And one of the crucial things is that SDG is available as one of the elements of SciVal. Of course, it's not stable, it's developed. We're still talking with our colleagues from the product that we need some more features than we start. And of course, we see some additional elements. One of them, I think the greatest one is a ranking. I'm the former ranker, so I'm very close to the rankings. Times higher impact rankings. This is one of the greatest example. I know that also QS have their ranking in SDGs. Other institutions are using it, like in Poland, we have a national ranking, and they have a one small component with few percent about the SDGs and participation in the goals. But anyway, you can check in detail your university, yourself, your country, your partners, that okay, do our partner has big number of papers or not? But anyway, everything is transparent here. So you have links. We will share with you those slides, so don't worry, you don't need to note anything. Here is embedded links. So if you click and you would like to see the query methodology, you can see it on the Mendeley or Digital Commons data now, currently well known. But also you can see some elements regarding the feedback, regarding the other elements what we are using, like machine learning component and some other things. Someone can ask, okay, is it AI? And AI will be invited to it. But if we're talking about this, you will see really that in coming days we probably publish the new queries 2023 in SciVal, because these days SciVal will be also updated. Okay. Free layer, I mentioned it. So also when you type scival.com/SDG in your browser URL address field, you will get access to SciVal. If your institution has no subscription, you can easily see the basic information about a particular SDG in SciVal based on, for example, key phrases, or even larger, the most prominent topic clusters in the particular SDG or institutions. If you would like, please join freely to SciVal free layer and see how the particular SDGs is looking, and then of course find the relevant elements for you, because I guess the most powerful for each researcher is key phrases cloud, because it's freely showing, okay, what these guys are particularly doing in this SDG. Okay, what the next is, oh, sorry, too fast, I'm really sorry, let me come back. Okay, so I mentioned also some changes in the query. So left-hand side here, SDG1 2020 query, the first one what we have created jointly with the experts, but of course we do not tap on it. We start to evaluate jointly with the community, global community, okay, how we can create those queries better serving the users, better serving the communities, better serving everyone who would like to be sure that have the most powerful information about particular SDG. And here on the middle and the right-hand side, you see what's happened in 2021 when we updated based on the feedback coming from the community and the experts' thoughts. It's not like few words, few phrases on the left-hand side. It's like over 110 pages in total with the whole queries, with the whole phrases, keywords, with some excludes, with some includes. So very, very deeply check and build component, which is giving, okay, we see the better spectrum, like over 200,000 papers done, almost 40,000 in the first one way. And we do not stop. We do not stop. As I know from my colleagues, they are still developing it, discussing, and adding new or removing some information on the feedback. One of the examples is well-being. The key phrase well-being from SDG 3. It needs to be removed because it's very highly used, and sometimes it's not even correlated with the well-being. So okay, so what kind of possibilities we have when we are talking about SDG? This is some of the general selection from our end. We do not go deeper, but some of you can see very similar things from perspective of strategy of your university, dedicated internal or even in-country programs, or sometimes something more general like building visibility and helping our university, our institutions to build their ranking position, or gaining some more collaborators, even be more attractive for them, that, for example, someone using these tools like the Scopus database or even Scival, they can find you and see, oh, okay, these guys from that particular university from Central Eastern Europe, they're highly oriented for the SDGs because they have these and that numbers. But first of all, impact. We are talking about impact all the time with the rankings, with the numbers of papers, metrics. I believe that Kirill, every time when he has a meeting with the customers and the users, the question about impact is most common thing what you are receiving. Kirill, what do you think? Is it most common question about the impact?
Oh, well, that depends on the kind of counterpart I'm talking to, but that's definitely one of the most among the most frequent questions, because everyone wants to align their goals and their limited resources to the areas or incentives that produce the most impactful output. And from that perspective, SDG as an alternative classification and alternative approach to view one's research portfolio and benchmarking system to build one's research strategy around is definitely something very practical, and it's the demand for it is only growing with the countries that I'm working with, and that is a variety of countries, both developed and developing, and also within different institutions, both classical large universities that are the flagship of their respective countries' research landscape, as well as small specialized institutions, and also academic bodies within non-academic structures such as ministries or parts of the corporate sectors. Those are also getting increasingly interested in SDGs, just because those priorities reflect the demand for the global economy in general, which means that if your department or your other kind of a unit is involved in a SDG related type of a research project, you're probably doing something that is highly demanded within your country as well as from a global perspective. To answer your question shortly, Bartek.
Yeah, this is always correlated with the persona I would like to add to these things, because sometimes when I'm speaking with the rectors and the top authorities of the universities, the impact is something what they would like to achieve, but the way to get this impact is always difficult and sometimes different. But always when we're going through the SDGs, engagement analysis based, of course, on the numbers. Sometimes you can believe me or not, but your researchers, even if they are doing day-by-day research, they can be not familiar that they are participating in SDG because they never think about it. They're thinking, okay, I'm doing my research. Let me share with you some example one of the latest research what I have read about archaeology. I'm the archaeologist from my scientific background. I saw about the situation in 19th century in England, in England, where they have the industrial revolution, and a lot of kids are working. So it was bioarchaeology, and they measured the skeletons and the graves and found in the graves in one cemetery. And it was something like they checking, okay, what was the impact of hard working of kids for building their bodies in the development phase. So it is mostly, this is something which, okay, this is pure archaeology, so nothing special. But this kind of work could be also something for the people working currently, because today is not England, maybe today is other regions globally with this hard working of kids problem and issue. So it can show, okay, if we would like to build some policy on the country level, we have some evidence coming from the UK that how this hard working in the development phase for kids are very, very affecting their bodies in the future. So in adult period. So this is something what can be useful. And I haven't seen with this paper any affiliation with IDG because I haven't seen in Scopus, but I can believe that many of these kind of papers can be used by the elements engaged with SDGs and very helpful for the other researchers. Okay, next one, building the position. Building the position, because we know that sometimes our universities, even my own, where I'm affiliated as a guest lecturer, we don't have a chance in the global rankings, but we have a chance sometimes in rankings highly oriented for the particular elements, like subject, like SDGs even. I guess one of the highest ranked university in latest Times Higher Impact ranking is University of Latvia in group 100, 101, 150, if I remember correctly. So my congratulations, our congratulations to colleagues from University of Latvia. So this is something where we are really, really good, and we can show our excellence, sometimes easily or sometimes not investing a big amount of money. International grants, I mentioned about it. You can see a lot of programs. If you are using as a researcher a tool for searching for fundings or searching external grants, you can see that many of grants are giving you extra points or telling that, okay, the priority is research in case of the SDGs and this and that, of course. So this is something what can be also very, very useful. One of the last evaluation and assessments, some local in-country assessments, they are also have the components or even dedicated criterion for the societal impact. So this is something what is needed. The evidence is always needed. You can bring all stories, but sometimes you could be asked for, okay, do you have any evidence of your research? And one of the example could be of course papers associated or inside particular SDGs or correlated with particular SDGs. Last but not least, it's a visibility. We mentioned it, I guess both me and Kirill. So when we are building the visibility, it could be also easily one of the component when we can use it. One of the example was mentioned by me is this THE impact ranking, which is giving us the more space to be in the highest position than in classic ranking, not 1000 something, but 100 something, which is much better, I guess. Okay, so let's keep my use case right now. It's very simple. I use mostly Scival for it, so this is not let's say rocket science, but I would like to share with you based on University of Lodz. It's classic university from Poland, but they don't have medical department actually. So this is something like they have all these elements, and then you see that the medical science in period 2007 to 21, 2017 sorry to 21 is like 20% of the output, but mostly as a classic university, natural science is over 55%. Of course, rest of them, social science, humanities, agriculture, and engineering technology. This is based on the OECD classification. But anyway, we see the general numbers. So generally speaking, we see that the university growth in these periods, they have like 6.2 thousand papers, 2.4 thousand authors. You see the growth. Also, document up to 10 authors is big number of the all group of the documents. So they are not highly oriented for kilo papers, like big group of authors creating a document. Citation like 55,000 over. Cited publication ratio is like 73% over. Citation per publication 8.9. Edge index H5 index 55 and FWCI 0.85. Poland is 1.0. FWCI, this field-weighted citation impact, is showing how our papers are cited according to the global average. One is always a global average, so they are a little bit under the global average. Of course, we can see some performance indicators like publication in top 10% journals, like 20%, a little bit better than Poland, and publication in top percent most cited global papers. They are very close to the same ratio for Poland. We see that they are growing. So we can shake a hand with a rector, we can shake it with the authorities, we can congratulate them, but of course we can go deeper. This is a general number, but we can go a little bit deeper to check these university, not only from a general perspective, we would like to see them from the perspective of SDG. How many of their papers are correlated with SDG? So if we see it's 1.9 thousand of papers in the same period of time, of course, it's always is the same way growing, like 84% more in 2021 than in 2017. So it's very nice. You see on this graph that it's growing. And also I would like to share with you the blue one element on this bar is Q1 of the best journals. So this is also growing very fast. Share of publication in the first decile, so 10%, the most cited papers is almost 14%. In most prominent journals, it's almost 25%, so very nice. FWC is 1.08, so a little bit more, I would say, than the general papers. Citation per publication is almost 12, nice numbers. Cited publication 84.7, and almost 32% the papers has been created in international collaboration. You have the numbers here, and you have also the numbers of citations. So easy observing it, we see international collaborations of over 600 papers and over 10,000 citations. If we would like to compare with national collaboration, very close numbers, but a little bit different in the numbers of citations. If we see these graphs of the SDGs, it's very close to the general one, so we can say that okay, as university, let's say all topics, all areas, all subjects of the university are working on it. So it means that all researchers are doing probably some efforts with SDG or with their research, which is very important from the perspective of SDG. Okay, of course, these two elements is not easy to compare because this is two separate slides. So we have created with Kirill such a small table when you can see some comparison between SDG of this university and the all numbers for the university, and you see two very important things. Of course, numbers of papers need to be different, but here cited publication, the ratio here is, I would say, significant, 10% points more than for the whole university. If we're talking about citation, same thing is also for FWCI. You can say that, okay, why it's important for me? Why it's important for my university to check these kind of metrics? My statement is very simple here. If we would like to build our, let's say, awareness for our university, for our community, said more, using simple metrics is very helpful. If we are talking about, okay, what is the ratio of cited publication? It's very simple. Do I have citations or not? Very simple thing. FWCI is a little bit more complicated because here we have a component of weighted elements of our citations, but here we can see easily that we are comparing apples with apples. Last but not least, citation per publication, a little bit more, 9 to almost 12 for these papers in correlation with SDGs. Okay, let's go then deeper in my case. So if we would like to see per SDG what's going on, we see that the most significant number of papers is with SDG 3. I believe that this SDG is the biggest animal in our small environment, because everything is almost correlated with the good health and well-being. And sometimes I'm saying, okay, nice that you have, but also let's look on the right-hand side of my graph, and see that, okay, this is a global average 1.0, and then we can see which of the SDG is the highest with these numbers. We have selected like 4 of them. So if we look on it, zero hunger, maybe they are not so close to an SDG 3 with number of papers, but if our researchers are doing something in it or collaborating in some research, they are really, really good cited by the other researchers. Same thing with climate action, SDG 13. It's like we have like a little bit over 100 papers, and these papers like cited 80% better than similar. So this is something what can show you really simple, okay, where is the good points when what we can share for a potential partner, building a website, building a hub, or even start speaking internally, because maybe you already have a dedicated staff or dedicated bureau responsible for these kind of elements or these kind of efforts, and you can deliver them. Hey guys, I have seen such kind of graph. Maybe we can start with it to evaluate what kind of names of our researchers are behind that kind of almost over 100 papers here, generating such a big number for FWCI metric. So this is the first, let's say, step for us. Let's go further. One of the additional element which could be very supportive in any analysis is relative activity index. We can see the red line here, or the pink line, is Poland. So it's a whole country as a component. The dashed line here in the middle is the world. So we see, okay, this is an average 1.0. But the blue one is my university in the selected case. So I see that, okay, we have definitely more papers, higher share of papers in SDG 15 than the world average, even than Poland. Same thing is with 16, with 1, and with 8 and 11, and 10. So this is something like, okay, we see these elements that we are, let's say, one of the players, good players, or we have a good players in our team of researchers. So maybe we should speak with them. Okay, let's talk about it, how we can support you and how you can contribute. Your research, your impact can contribute for my numbers, for our numbers, for our university, for our community, how we can grab more funds, and so on and so on. So this is a lot of coming new questions. But of course, you can see based on this graph that in some cases, like SDG, for example, 7, we still, for example, we are not interested in, because we are not technical university. Probably SDG 7 is more correlated with a technical teams. Maybe we are a classic one, so we don't have it. And usually we can see it, okay, if we would like to build something, we have some areas to investigate, we have some areas to develop, or we even need to investigate internally, because maybe some of our researchers currently are not visible globally or regionally in these particular elements, but they have very, very nice papers, very, very nice research in this particular topic. Based on it, you know why I mentioned that sometimes it's crucial to check what do we have in our repositories than we have in databases like Scopus. Kirill, would you like to add something to my talkative?
Absolutely. Thank you, Bartek. Yeah, a couple of notes on the analytical side of it. So this kind of a visualization, as Bartek thoroughly explained, is really important. Pardon for the noises, because I'm sitting outside in the beautiful town of Porridge and there are some cars passing by. But anyhow, this kind of visualization gives you a clear view of how your SDG research, SDG related research, correlates with the global agenda. However, if you look at the global numbers, if you look at the absolute numbers, sorry, the picture might be very different. And it's really important to keep that in mind, because all the different SDGs are associated with research areas of different sizes, as well as of different research intent, differently intense research areas and categories. Therefore, if you look at, let's say, a typical countries split into SDGs or the global one, you would see that SDG 3, good health and well-being, is the largest one, no matter what kind of an entity you're analyzing, be that the world profile or a country's or a regional one. And for a classical institution, that would look typically the same. That happens because SDG 3 is mostly associated with medicine and health sciences research, which is of all areas the most intensive one. If, for instance, you have a look at SDG related to zero hunger, let's say, yeah, number 2, that is mostly associated with agricultural sciences with a tiny bit of technical and natural science, but on the whole, it cannot be compared with SDG 3 or any other highly intensive areas. So that is my commentary in relation to the necessity to compare like to like, or apples to apples and oranges to oranges. Another point, another note from the analytical standpoint is that SDGs is another alternative approach to have a look at your research profile in whichever role, in whichever position you are. Let's say you are a researcher and you can split your profile and your research interests across the global agenda. If you are head of a research unit, a laboratory, a department, or an entire institution, you can do that pretty much the same. And whichever role you occupy, that split would be very precise because, as again, Bartek has already described in much detail, each of the papers would be assigned to each of the SDGs by its very content, by the keywords that appear in the metadata of your paper. That means that if you analyze the same portfolio of yourself or your institution or whichever profile you're looking at by research areas and SDGs, the SDG analysis from that perspective will be much more precise because it looks at the specific features of each and every paper you have in there. So that adds to the point of its practicality, even if you are a researcher doing your very specific job in one or a few areas. I think it's time to stop because I can talk about analysis.
No, it was a good introduction. It was a good introduction to next element what I would like to share with you guys. Because of course we saw the general number as Kirill mentioned. We see some shares, we see some ratios in particular elements, but sometimes it's really difficult to speak internally directly with the researchers about some SDGs, some classification schemas, and so on. We also facing this discussion with Kiro across the region. So we see that, okay, our customers, users asking us, guys, can you help us to simplify this discussion? And one of the elements what we would like to share with you is topics and topic clusters available in Soival, and of course available in Scopus, partially on the level of the papers. But anyway, if we come back to the University of Lutz for a moment, we see that their researchers contribute in over 2,800 topics in period 2007-2021. And of course, we can see a lot of different colors. These colors are answering these areas what I have mentioned with you. So here is natural science, engineering, earth and environment, agriculture, biochemistry, medical, arts and humanities, social science, economy, and computer science here on the top. So we see that our researchers are contributing in many different topics. Here in topics, the situation is a little bit different than with ASGC classification and the other schemas. Here we are not talking about affiliation of the particular source, we are talking about affiliation of the particular paper. And the paper could be affiliated only with one topic, not more. So here is some more detailed information about the research of the university done with any classification schema. But anyway, here we see some big, let's say, points on this graph, some smaller, but let's go a little bit further. If we look on the topics with the papers associated with SDG, all of them, we see that from 2.8, we have 1.1 thousand of topics with papers affiliated to the university and associated with SDGs. And we see also some different colors. I would say that mostly we see the green one, the red one, the yellow one, and the blue one here in the middle. And also I put some leading topics here with the names of the researchers, what I have found here in Soival. So this is also something that, okay, we see some elements, but we can also see some names from our end, from our university. But bear in mind one very important thing. We have over, I guess, 24,000 institutions already in Soival available for analysis, and you can check all of them. So it means that you can go and do the same investigation with any university what you have selected around the world. And it's of course available in Soival. So based on it, we can see that some of these big bubbles are here, are correlated, associated with SDG. So it's good to speak even further with some particular researchers. Okay, guys, we see you. Do you aware that your research are very important from the perspective of Sustainable Development Goals? Do you need any support? How we can help you? Because we know that some grants, external grants from, let's say, European Union or any other external founders is available for this kind of particular research. How we can help you to grab this money? How we can help you to develop your research? How we can help you that your everyday, day-by-day job, day-by-day work, scientific work, will be helping to achieving goals of our strategy. This is of course one example, but I believe that these kind of things could be more elements. We try to make it very simple to create, like in 1 hour, I would say. If everyone sit with Soival, then have recreate these kind of slides for own university, like in 1 hour, 1 hour and 50 minutes. So this is not very difficult. Here is a comparison between two pictures. Left-hand side is whole university, 2.8 thousand topics, and the right-hand side 1.1, sorry, only with SDG. Okay, so let's practice then. We don't want to share with you more slides, but just to show you simply, we have created some use cases. Step by step, you can use those use cases and start to doing your analysis. I'm just jumping through these use cases, but you can use it. You can use it as examples. Of course, you can modify it based on your challenges, based on your needs. But anyway, you can see a lot of elements. For example, this graph, what we are sharing with you already, you can see what what you can deliver to your authorities based on the Cyval and Scopus. So we have around 15 minutes probably. So let me jump to the live part of our session. I will jump to the Scopus first. Okay, we are here. You should see my screen properly right now in Scopus, and of course Cyval, so it's my browser. And generally speaking, if we would like to see some information here about SDG, we have, I would say, two ways. Kirill is monitoring, chat is monitoring Q&A, so drop a question if you have. But Kirill, feel free to enter at any moment to stop me and just drop your insight if I miss, for example, something. But
absolutely.
Let me start with something really simple. If we are using abstract databases with their search engines, and there are a lot of features behind the search engines and search algorithms, we need to find the relevant paper for us. So let's start with it. Heritage. I will type heritage, something simple. I can expect almost 120,000 documents. And what we can do, we see that we have some papers. Let's give some time to my Scopus. They need reloaded. Okay, we got it. And of course, we can say that, oh, nice. Let me see the latest one, data, the newest. So let's resort this list. And of course, we can see some very interesting elements. I'm not sure that any of them is actually correlated with SDG, but how I can be sure about it. Okay, let's click on the randomly selected paper. Today we have a 13th of June. I selected 13 results. Randomly? I don't think so. But when you go to the page, we can see elements. I missed. We don't have it. We don't have any SDG on this paper. But this is something what could be oriented. Here on this small menu left-hand side, you will have additional bar. Maybe Kirill will drop something into the cheat sheet, and I can show you, or Kirill can find it and share the screen then. But here you will be able to see also the SDG bar. And when you click on it, like I will click right now on the topics, you will see what kind of information are in SDG. Kirill, do you have something, or shall I looking for and retrieve something here deeper?
No. So far, I don't have any comments. Maybe I would suggest that we could try filtering down those results using a specific SDG. And so far, while you were talking, I'm just finishing my message to our audience, encouraging everyone to share their thoughts and suggestions about practical implications of SDG.
Okay.
So please go ahead.
Okay, so I changed my query a little bit and filter. Maybe here will be something very, very helpful. I see my sorry for that, my Scopus is reloading today. It's a little bit irritating, but anyway. So let's check. Do we have something? Another one, a random click for the paper. I hope we get something. Sorry, my Scopus is today not the fastest thing. I don't know why it's happening, but here, okay, we got it. I found it. So you have this bar with SDG here and here, and when you click on it, you will see to which goals this particular paper is mapped. It means that it could be one, but it could be more based on the key phrases or keywords used on the level of title, abstract, and the keywords of the document. So based on it, we can see that this one is correlated with SDG 9, industry, innovation, infrastructure, and of course, it could be a big true because we select a low-cost, fully additive manufactured passive microwave and so on. Sorry, this is not my topic. But anyway, this is something what we can see on the level of the papers. Of course, I mentioned that we are developing Scopus continuously, so it means that in coming months probably, or coming updates, You will see more elements correlated with SDGs. So easily, if you are seeing something like with this puppet new or with this eye, it's useful to click to see deeper what is behind. And probably during one of the next update, we will add also information about these kind of SDGs on the level of the institution. So be aware. Let's wait for it, and then it will be available. Okay, I mentioned that in Scopus we have a couple ways to get it. I'm looking on my clock, and it's really fasting right now. I don't know why. And the second way is advanced document search. Here we have some predefined queries. So if you click on it, you will see that, okay, we would like to see, for example, quality education. When I'm click on it, system automatically add those queries. But bear in mind, this is SDGs 2020, so the first one. I know that the team are currently working to add the latest one, but they are really, really big. You saw the numbers, like over 100 web pages, so it's very difficult to add here, because it's consuming a lot of let's say memory of the browser. But based on it, you can start to retrieving the data very easily to check, okay, what's going on these simple one queries, and also add other contextual fields or other codes, like and field country if I would like to see paper from Latvia. Okay, AFI country Latvia. Okay, so we have over 120 papers, and then we can check what's going on. Bear in mind, left-hand side facets are very, very crucial for these kind of things to retrieve and limit the results. If they're a big number here, we can see all of them and use some other sorts or facets to check, for example, only papers from 2020, just clicking on the number in the facets. Okay, we see it. And now let me jump to Scival for a moment, because Scival is also powerful place for SDG, more powerful. I saw that Kirill shared with you through the cheat sheet link to free layer of Scival and SDG, but let me share with you where you can find these graphs, what we have shared with you already. Oh, this is the great element. I don't know that they have something, but I have a call today morning from the customer. They asked me, okay, is it possible to find something else than universities? So I share with him that yes, FC Barcelona, they have also their R&D, and they have also some papers. This is their topics, of course, but let's check that they have something in SDG. Do they have any research correlate with the SDGs? So we are in overview, then summary, but not summary is crucial right now. We need to jump to publish tab, and in publish tab we have dedicated one. Sorry, my internet is really slow. I don't know what's going on right now. And in this place we have subtab by SDG. When I'm click on it, you will see that we are able to see all of these elements what we have already used with Kirill. Okay, they have not a big amount of paper. They have like 15 papers, but we can see it where they are. This is maybe not the best, I guess, example, but let's keep it as it is. So this is very simple bar. We see that the big number is, of course, good health and well-being, what other they can do, but also the highest impact is their papers in SDG 11 or participation on that paper. Same thing here on the top is relative activity chart, and to see those relative activity index of the particular institution. What we can do, let's load and compare to Spain. Yeah, sorry for that. They're probably updating us right now. Okay. It's not quite nice because they don't have a papers. Let me change for colleagues from Brno University of Technology. It should be nicer graph, but of course, bear in mind this is Technology University, not the classic one. And the system will be loading once again. Yeah, we should here know that this is not a good day to doing any webinar when they are updating system.
Definitely. Or we
Yeah,
need
they are
to,
updating.
pre-record everything.
Yeah. Okay. This is the Brno University of Technologies,
This is
the
nice.
blue line, a little bit better. And just clicking one checkbox, you can compare it to Czechia easy way, of course. I don't have any home institutions, but the user, they have their own home institutions here associated with their accounts. So they have usually two checkboxes. If they're selecting any other university, they can compare to the country where it's located and to their own university, home university. And now we can see that, for example, of course, life on land, this is not something what is very crucial for the university, Brno University of Technology, but they are very, very oriented for SDG number 12, responsible consumption production, which is, I guess, common for the University of Technologies, and also industry innovation infrastructure, also the common area. So this is something. Of course, bear in mind you can export everything here. So this is the balance here on the side. So based on it, I guess we have 3 minutes and we consume our time mostly. We need to come back to the presentation. Kirill wants to add something.
So far, I don't think so. Now that we are getting closer to the planned end of the webinar, maybe anyone would we still have some time for questions. So if
yeah. Well, of course, we can extend 1 or 2 minutes our webinar. So if you have any questions, just drop it. We will answer you live, or we will type the answer. Depends of your needs. If you have no questions right now, do not hesitate to send us via email. We will share with you our emails at the end of the slides. So if you will have a question or would like to discuss individually about SDG and any analytics in these elements, just let us know. We will happy to support. We're happy to share with you our knowledge, our thoughts, or even to help with these elements. Let me share my screen. Okay, so we are smoothly coming to the end. 1 minute. Okay, Q&A is flying. So if you have a question, still remind to drop it into the chat. Okay, guys, in the presentation you have more resources. So easy, you can use all these links. We will share with you via dedicated email. So any participant and the registrants will receive the email with links to the presentation, with links to the certificate, and you can use it for grabbing more information about the SDGs. Of course, some of them we don't have time, but during the other hour meetings, which are recorded on Elsevier Training Hub, you can see more information. For anyone who is interested in certificate of attendance, please go ahead, just visit the Research Academy using the code, and then of course generate your own certification, and then you can download in PDF and use it as well if you need it. Second thing is your opinion. So we always kindly inviting you to participate in our post webinar survey. If anybody would like to share their opinion, feel free. We are happy to hear. Also, if you have any suggestion, just send us an email, especially that we are in a period of preparation of new series of webinar for second part of 2023. So we will be discussing in coming days with our team members what kind of topics are crucial for users, for research communities across Central Eastern Europe. Last but not least, good track for more. What I mentioned, what we have done previously, what we have recorded previously, this session also will be available through Elsevier Online Training Hub, the place where we have dedicated webinars in different languages done by our freelancers, or even more, because also we have access to the more recordings from the past sessions. So from my end, thank you. We extend 1 minute. I hope I hope it was useful for you. Thank you, Kirill, for support. Thank you, Kirill, for helping me with presentation. It was one of the it's not my last, but our joint last presentation in this series. So guys, you will see us after the vacation. Thank you for joining this session and participating in the all session what we have already. And from my end, I'm wishing you a pleasant afternoon today and the rest of the week, and spend the great vacation, rest, and come back in September with fully recharged batteries. Kirill, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Bartek. Always a pleasure to co-host an event with you. And thank you everyone for your interest. SDGs, as you can see, is both something to allocate some of your attention to, both from the value point of view, because it is something that helps you align what you're doing with what the world needs, and it might be useful to attract extra funding, attract new colleagues, discover new interests, and on the whole boost your career and your institution's research activities. Once again, thank you so much. Feel free to reach out to us, and we're happy to continue this conversation privately, one-on-one. Have a good day, and see you in our next webinars.
Yeah, exactly. Shortly, we will be sending you probably emails to the consortia, to the institutions, with a list of new webinars. And of course, if you are tracking Elsevier Online Training Hub, you will get this knowledge first. So be on track, be in touch. All the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.